The Lexus NX or RX, which Lexus SUV should you be getting? Well, welcome to the channel. My name is Sonduren. I'm going to be showing you and breaking down all the things that you need to consider when you're choosing between these two Lexus luxury SUVs. So number one, you got to obviously look at is the price of this. Otherwise, everyone's going to get bigger for free, but it's not free. If you want to go with bigger, you're going to pay an extra $10,000. And that's what the cost difference is for the Lexus NX, the base model, versus the Lexus RX in its base model. I had to go through the same decision-making process, right? I wanted to go ahead, look for a family SUV. I needed a daily driver, A to B, pack in all this stuff, a kid, the wife, everything you can consider. Then I looked at it and said, do I need to spend the $10,000 to actually get the space and some of the extra nuanced features of the RX over the NX? Well, let me break down all of my thinking. Number one, obviously budget. I was already spending on this Lexus NX, loaded up on this NX 350h, which is the hybrid model, out the door after taxes and everything, because really that's the price that I'm paying. It was about $70,000, and that was MSRP. Bought this car 6 months ago. There's no negotiating at the dealer anymore or anything like that. Well, actually right now, used prices of cars are starting to soften, and we may see new vehicle prices start to come down and negotiations may come back, but that's a whole different topic. Now, that $10,000 is a lot of money, especially if you consider, the RX is now $80,000 for the equivalent RX 350h. So you're looking at about what? Is that like 15%-ish, right? In terms of the cost to go ahead and upgrade for the additional space. So that's quite a bit, right? 15%. You're already paying tax on a vehicle. Now you're paying a lot more. Obviously, you're getting a little bit more space. So let's talk about the space. You're thinking, okay, how much more space am I actually getting with the RX? Especially with the Lexus NX, they made more room in the back. So I was thinking, all right, they made these improvements. They added more room in the NX. Do I need to take that leap into the RX? And you're getting roughly 20% more increased space. And look, I went ahead, I did a full review of the Lexus RX, the 2023 500h. That's the top of the line model, out the door in Canada. That's about 90,000 Canadian dollars. So while the RX 500h costs $90,000, it's the exact same size as the RX 350h, so we can make that comparison. And do you feel that 20%? When I say 20%, I mean 20% in the cargo area, of course, and I'll put up the cubic inches of capacity that they both have, but 20% in the rear, and you do feel it. 20% up in the front too. You feel like you have a little bit more space, but the question is it going to make that extra person in the back that much more comfortable? Is it going to make you in the front that much more comfortable? Are you going to be able to store that much more into it? And I personally came down in the storage department like, yes, it's great, but it's more of a nice to have. Like if I had two kids, for example, I'd say it's a tight fit in the NX. In the RX, if I had two kids, it makes it better, but it's not like super ideal, right? It's still a compact SUV, right? It's not a huge SUV. It's not a 7-seater. It is a 5-seater on both of these vehicles. So it's more of a quality of life enhancement in my eyes personally than a complete big upgrade of additional space and storage across the vehicle. So that's the storage thing. To be honest with you, it depends on your life journey, how many kids you got, how much stuff you're lugging in and out. Me and my wife, we just went on a road trip to Chicago. We came back with the baby. It was awesome. It put in all our luggage there, baby seat in the rear. Everything worked out fine. But if I had two babies, maybe it's getting a little bit tight then. Then maybe the RX, I want some of that extra space. It's going to help, but it's not a game changer is basically what I'm saying. So let's put that over to the side. Everything else on the RX, by the way, the drivetrain is exactly the same. So we're talking about same engine, same hybrid components from the RX 350 to the NX 350 and RX 350h to the NX 350h. Same thing. Now, if you go with the RX, you get the option for the RX 500h, and we did a full test drive on that. You can watch those videos. I'll link them in the card above. That thing is awesome, right? Absolutely amazing in terms of performance. 376, I think, horsepower, 404 pound-feet of torque, tons of power, tons of torque in this vehicle, and it was just a joy. But technology-wise, everything else-wise, it's the same. And so let's talk about that. We talk about drivetrain, basically the same unless you get the RX 500h. Interior technology, basically the same. Small little upgrades, like they have traffic jam assist on the RX. They have a Mark Levinson sound system that has 23 speakers, so additional speakers on the standard speaker package and the Mark Levinson package. So it's like, You improve the quality like a step up. Also, in the seats, it's got some beautiful, this new luxe leather, which they have, but you can also get genuine leather across the vehicles. Then they have this other, material in the seats as well that just makes the entire experience a little bit more higher class, more soft touch materials in the RX. So it's, again, a little step. If you ask me to put a percentage on it, the cargo space is like 20%. The interior quality, the level that I felt that it took up on the NX, probably 10%, let's say, maybe 12.5%. I'm trying to be as precise here as possible. So not a huge step up, but still, that's a nice to have. It's nicer quality inside. I like it. A little bit of soft touch here and there. So that's that aside. Performance, we talked about that. Drivetrain, we talked about that. But fuel economy, again, roughly the same because the engines and the components are the same. When you get into the RX 500H, it's obviously much more expensive in terms of fuel economy. It's still good. It's around 8.7 to 8.9 liters per 100 kilometers, but that's on, the most conservative way to drive it. I average personally in my testing about 14 liters per 100 kilometers, but that's because I was, giving it some nice juice. So I really do like that vehicle. And honestly, across the line, these are some of the most fuel efficient vehicles, and I'm speaking specifically to the hybrid. Now, that's a whole different topic. I made a separate video on should you choose the gas version versus the hybrid version. I obviously picked the hybrid version because I wanted that fuel economy. This is a family daily driver vehicle, so we went ahead and picked that. So, I look across all of this stuff and I thought, when I was deciding between the NX and the RX, I personally, and for my family situation today, couldn't justify the RX. The $10,000 to me was material. So look, if you're watching this right now and you're like, Sonduren, this is your peasant problem, the $10,000 is not an issue for me, then absolutely do it. Go for the RX. The extra space is nice, the 20%. The extra soft touch materials on the inside is nice. I like the exterior styling of the RX. It looks really good too. It's kind of like the brother-sibling combo on the NX. The infotainment package is great. While it's the same as the NX, then go ahead and do it. But what I'm gonna say here, it's more of a quality of life enhancement across the vehicle versus a step change in the segment. And so for me, $10,000 is $10,000, which is a good bit of money. And I thought, you know what? I don't actually need to spend the $10,000 because in my eyes, the returns are diminishing at this point. I'm spending $10,000 for maybe this much value. To me, that's monetary, but it doesn't live up to that $10,000, and I just didn't need it at the time. I have one kid, but if I had two kids and I plan on having two kids soon, then I probably might have just, taken the bullet and went with the RX. So it's really all about what you need in your life. Do you need that extra storage? Do you need that? You want to feel that extra quality in the interior materials? Then you can go ahead and get the RX. But for me, that just wasn't the case. I wanted to save the $10,000 because, to be honest with you guys, I never thought in my life I would spend $70,000 on an SUV. I did it for the kid. Also, the Lexus brand. I love the Lexus brand. I can trust that this SUV is going to keep the highest residual value. It's going to be the most reliable kind of family car. And I've had many previous Lexuses in the past. If you follow my channel, the IS250, the Lexus IS350, both had over 350,000 kilometers. Like, these things are tanks. So the product is amazing. I didn't feel so bad spending MSRP $70,000 for the product, but to me, I was already like, wow, I'm spending $70,000 on a car, my poor man problems. And, the $10,000 just was too much for me to bear. So that's my feedback. I hope this helped you guys if you're considering a Lexus SUV, either the NX or the RX. But what I can tell you 100%, I went and cross-shopped so many vehicles, the BMW X5, the Genesis GV70. Me and my wife looked at all these different vehicles and we landed on the Lexus NX, and obviously in combination the RX, because we love the styling, we love the technology, we love the powertrains, and we love the Lexus brand and reliability. So we went with the Lexus at the end of the day. Whatever you go with, the NX, the RX, I guarantee you're going to be happy. Such awesome vehicles. We've just crossed over 10,000 kilometers on our NX, and we absolutely love it. Love the vehicle. So if you have any questions about it, or if you have any other comments, leave them down in the comment box down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Tons more videos to come if you like cars, detailing, reviews. I cover all that here. Make sure you follow along, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.